Speaking Live. Look for the chat box on the side or bottom of the video player. This is where you can type your message. Click inside the chat box and use your keyboard to type out what you want to say. You can type words, use emojis, or even ask questions. Once you've typed your message, press the enter key on your keyboard or click the send button.
Three months on, and there are many who have been assisted, moving on with their lives, yet there are many still hurting, homeless, without a roof. Business is still down from Melissa's Category 5 blow. One of the key ministries in the recovery is the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. How are we doing by those thousands of victims, especially those who lost their house or had damage to their shelter? Minister Colonel Charles, Minister of Labor and Social Security, is one of the key ministries in the recovery. We thank Mr. Charles for joining us. But before we bring him on, thank you all for joining us today on this, the 196th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica Podcast. As ever, we invite your comments and queries during the show. Please place them on the channel in the space provided as instructed at the start of the program. Welcome to regular panelists Desmond Richards and Winnie Anderson Brown. Welcome, Minister. Glad you could join us. Minister, we want to start. Is he with us? I think we are getting him in there. And just was reminding us to encourage you to subscribe.
I'm not hearing.
We're waiting on the minister. And we think we have a good show for you. If you're just joining us. We had him up in there so ago, but we'll get him back in a few seconds on video. This one. What's your sense of what's happening with regard to, I'll wait on Minister, with regard to the recovery?
Half year that there are still many persons who have not seen anyone. They are, in other words, they are not registered. The situation continue to be very.
So let's get the man. Thank you, Desmond. Let's get the man who's in charge of it all. Minister, welcome and thank you. Thank you. I know you had a very busy afternoon, but you put aside this little period for us, and we appreciate it. You hearing us, Minister? Did we lose him there for a second? Did we lose him there? Minister, you hearing me? Minister, you hearing me? You need to unmute. Unmute, Minister. Unmute. Good. Minister, are you hearing me now?
Not sure if you're hearing, but I'm not hearing.
You're not hearing me? He's unmuted and he's not hearing me. Mr. Desmond was hearing me. You're hearing me now, Minister? Me? Yes.
I'm not hearing you at all.
Oh, wow. Wow. Don't know what's that part of it. Desmond, you can ask the Minister the same question you were telling me about. Let's see if he can hear you.
Hello, Minister.
How are you, Mr. Richards? I'm hearing you.
Okay. By the way, my first question to you is that I am more accustomed to your dad. How is your dad? Pernell.
He's good. He's good, you know. He got that bad flu, so he was a little down for a while, but he's back up and running now.
Okay, yes.
Feeling much better.
Okay, that's
Yes, man.
I am glad to hear that Pernell Senior is alive and well.
Yes,
Anyway,
man.
yes. Now, Minister, one of my findings is that there are still many people in rural areas who, when I talk to them, they say they are not registered, they have not seen anyone, now they are not seen their MP, they are not seen officials. Now tell me, how is the registration? Are you satisfied with the registration process? And how is it going? You heard me?
Not hearing him now.
No. Something is not right.
Let me come off and get back to you.
Yeah.
Desmond?
Are you hearing me, Franklin? Franklin, are you hearing me? I'm not hearing him either.
Today. Don't know what has happened. You're still not hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes. Viewers, listeners, we're having a few little issues. We don't even know why we're having these issues, but we're having a few issues. Desmond, you can hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
And so your argument was, and that your line you were putting to the minister is that many people you know have not been registered. Many people you know have not been registered and have not been reached. Okay.
No.
Right. So we are hoping.
Yeah, the minister should be back shortly. Right?
Okay.
Yes.
And our apologies again because we don't know what happened. But Desmond, one of the things that we found is that there are people, and Hanover was our case study area. There are people down there who have, it's not true to say they haven't seen anybody or they haven't seen the social workers. They have seen them, but they have not got benefits.
Yeah. Okay.
They are going through a procedure. So what one of the first things I wanted to ask the minister is, how far is the recovery process now? How far is it gone? How many people have been reached? How many people have been left back out of it? But we're having great difficulties. Viewers, listeners, in linking up back with the minister.
Wow. Yes.
Great difficulties. And I'm not even seeing him on right now.
No. He came off and said he would be back, right? So,
yes. So Desmond, what would you be expecting at this stage now of the process? What would you be expecting at this stage?
Well, my expectation right now is that the people should start getting some assistance to fix their shelters. As you are aware, the government announced a $10 billion program to assist victims.
Yes.
And I am not sure. I want to ask the minister. I think it should have started at the end of January or at the end of February, right? I'm not too certain. But I expect that program to roll out so that people can get some assistance to repair their roofs. So that is the main issue affecting people right now, you know, that is shelter, right? Yes, they will take some care packages still, but their main contention now is to get their roof repaired. That is what I find.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I suspect that Joshua is trying to get the minister on. But one of the things that is of concern to me, Desmond, is that in a way, because there's so many things around to be dealt with and things are moving so fast in current affairs and so on, it seems that we have sort of forgotten the people who suffered a lot of loss, and we don't quite understand what it is to lose your house. And so a lot of people don't seem to care too much about that. Is that your perception?
Well, in Jamaica we have a tendency for this 9-day wonder. And the hurricane was from the 28th of October last year. And yes, I know that some people have taken the interest of the victims. Some people may have put that off their radar right now. But I hope I am not in a position to say that the official dam is not treating it with urgency. As you know, one of the things that we anticipated, that the movement is slow, the progress is slow. Whatever the government is doing to assist, it is slow, right? But based on their pronouncements,
and that again is relative, isn't it, Desmond? I mean, one of the things is I'd love to get a sense of, as I said earlier, where they have reached, how many people have been reached. It's not like on the electricity, we have been told that's 94%. That's what I want to get, some data about where we have reached, because the people are all over the place. Even if you go to a parish, even if you go to somewhere like Westmoreland, or you go to Hanover, you are in a particular area. The people with the reach would be like the Ministry of Social Security, the parish council, poor relief department, and so on. So it's very difficult for us to get a sense of where we are in dealing with these issues.
Yes, of course. But one thing we know, Franklin, is that there are still thousands of Jamaicans out there who are in need, right? That is a fact.
Okay. All right. We're still having trouble connecting to the minister. We don't know what it is.
Hello.
Minister is here again. Minister?
Yes.
You're hearing me now?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. Well, I don't know what happened, but thank you for persevering and getting back on. And so the first thing we really wanted to ask you is, how far are we in the recovery with regard to people who lost houses or roofs or so? How far are we in the recovery with that?
Well, how far we are depends on what measure you're looking on, but we're gone a far way in that we have done more than 90,000 assessments, and when we started, our projection in terms of the households that we would need to assess was around 90,000. So most, if not all, persons have been assessed by now or visiting.
90,000 assessments.
More than 90,000. We've surpassed 90,000 household assessments, meaning we have gone to 90,000 households and we have interviewed occupants about the assets, about the damage, about their livelihood, and all of the things that we asked for. We've taken pictures, GPS location, and all of that for more than 90,000. Now,
and here is the rub, Minister. Here's the rub. Because you have gone to them doesn't mean that they have they're getting any relief yet. You have gone.
So permit me to finish, and then you can jump back.
Okay.
In. All right. So we have done more than 90,000 assessments, and the assessments are the first step before we can provide any relief, because there are many persons who will tell you that nobody has come, they've never been assessed, and it's not true. Matter of fact, we went out yesterday, a team of ours, um, and 15 different families told them that they have never been assessed. And when they checked, all 15 were assessed before. So what we anticipate that at this stage, because there's money involved, there are many persons who will say that they're not assessed because they're hoping to have a duplication of the assessment for their one household. But because we're using a digital format, it allows us very quickly to eliminate that, or at least to lessen that. In large part, most households have been assessed. Matter of fact, for those households that genuinely have not been assessed, we have put in place different measures to capture them. So, and let me tell you what has happened. There are times when we go on a street where somebody might not be there, or the house is totally destroyed, so they can't stay there, or they may be at work, or for whatever reason, our assessor doesn't get a chance to interact with them. And if we don't interact with you, then we can't complete the assessment. So in that case, we have put in place on our website a self-registration form. So anyone who you hear saying, I was not assessed, you can tell them, go and assess or go and report on the mlss.gov.jm website, and you will be able to give us your information, and we'll contact you and arrange an assessment. Now, some people can't go online, and some people, even if they can, they don't know how to. So we also have another method, in that we have calling cards that we leave at homes when we visit, when the people are not there, so that you can always use the phone and call us and arrange an assessment. The third thing is that if you can't go online and you can't make a phone call, we have told persons, anybody who says, I was not assessed, go to our parish office, and they will firstly evaluate you, and then they will come and arrange an assessment once it is that you're supposed to have an assessment. Now, what has been happening, frankly, is that you have many, many homes with multiple families. You have some households where you have mother and father and children, and they're different names, different last names. And sometimes genuinely and sometimes not so genuinely, people are you might have a father who attends on our office and says nobody has come to assess me, because he's not aware that yesterday an assessment was done and his wife or his partner is the one who completed the information. That has happened many, many, many times. So we tell people, before you say you're not assessed, ask the persons in your household. They may tell you that yes, somebody came by last week, but we forgot to tell you. So, many things have been said, many things have been done, but the facts are that we have done in the last, what would it be, 3 months, significant work. I put it in context. During Beryl, we did less than 19,000 assessments, and it took 8 months. And if you compare to other countries overseas, even developed countries, you will very quickly be able to see that the work that we are doing, even though not perfect, is work which really exemplifies full commitment from our soldiers that we have on the ground, the JDF, our team members, many of whom themselves are victims, who, despite their own circumstances, are out, they're serving, they're giving yeoman service to the country, going around up, down hills and valleys to get this done. And
Minister,
last thing I'll say is this. Anybody who is now to receive a cash grant or a roof repair or a modular solution or whatever it is, they cannot receive it unless the assessment is done. So the assessment is the first step after you have been impacted. And why do we do that? Because there are many persons who were not impacted by Melissa who are trying to get into the program because of the money that's involved. So we have to authenticate, and we have to make sure that we know what level to put you at, whether it is minor, major, or severe. Because depending on the level, the amount of cash that you receive as a grant under the roofs program, it differs. And for the shelter recovery, I know you're going to ask about what benefit. For the shelter recovery program, there are 6 different interventions. The cash grant, which is the 10 billion, is just
Before we go
one.
over there, so I want to finish up on the assessment part of it. And I appreciate that the volume of stuff that your agents are doing out there and the work. I appreciate that. But what I wanted to ask you, and you answered the question about which Desmond started with about so many people not having been assessed. But what I want to ask you, how long after the assessment are people supposed to start getting benefits? What's the period? And when do you expect you yourself, uh, the majority of people in Jamaica to be dealt with? Let's say 90% of who got losses. So we take the assessment that the assessments have captured 90,000 people or more. How long do you expect between people coming to assess me and my getting some benefit?
Excellent question. So the hurricane was in the ending of October. And by December, we had paid out more than 6,000 grants through our NHT element of the shelter recovery program. And it's similar grants to the roofs, so it's up to 500,000. So more than 6,000 persons have already received grants under NHT. Under the roofs portion, we have almost about 2,000 or more that have already received their grants under that program. We have hundreds more who have received roof repair under the government-led repair program, the partner-led repair program. So what we're doing is not something to be done in the future. We've started to do repair and provide grants from December, and we're now in February.
But
So we're
the
moving.
numbers you gave us there, Minister, add up to less than 10,000. And by
Yes,
your
but
own count, there are more than
yeah,
90,000.
90,000 households. It's much more than 90,000 persons.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we have had, through our partners, World Food Program, we had 16,000 households, 50,000 persons receiving 2 cycles of $37,000. And that was based on vulnerability and also based on the list, our assessment list. Additionally, we have another 100 and something million from UNICEF that has either gone out or is to go out for children with disabilities and children on path. So, Franklin, listen, anybody can sit and talk about how long it takes. Come on the field with us. You will understand what we're doing on the ground. My team has been working from 2024, from Beryl, and they haven't stopped working. Some of them, I don't know how they're doing it because they don't have any house, and we have to prioritize them as well. So, what I would
I'm
tell
not
you,
making light of the efforts, Minister. I'm not making.
what I would tell you,
I'm not making light
is
of the
that
efforts, Minister. All I'm saying is that if a man has lost his house, a family, man or woman, family, or lost significant portion of it, the roof is down and so forth,
yes,
and it's been in 3 months, he wants to know now, and it's been assessed how much longer is the government process going to take to get me a benefit? That's what I'm asking.
Everyone that we have assessed has received some benefit. Every single household that we have assessed has received some form of benefit from the government, whether it is a food package, a mattress, interim shelter at one of the shelters that we put together, whatever kind of support we can give. Now, remember, the government before this couldn't do this. What we have done is put aside contingency money based on good governance and decisions that we have made that has allowed us to say to people, we're going to give you a roof. We're going to give you $10 billion or more of cash to help you restore. It's never expected to be the whole sum because we know we can't provide everything. And as I said to you, we have started the process already. What we're doing in terms of the disbursement is we're using modalities that will allow for us to move rapidly. So in terms of the major and the severe, which is about more than 14,000 persons are in the severe category. More than 33,000 are in the major category in terms of households. For those two,
Severe means lost the house. Severe means lost the house.
Severe could mean lost the house, or it means you have severe damage, which almost totally destroyed. So I'm saying to you that for those 2 categories, we're using a digital payment modality. So once we have finished cleaning the list, that money can go out in 1 week. So we're in the process now of making sure that we don't have any duplications, making sure that we have the right information. And once we finish that, that process of paying that out will be very swift. But we have to make sure that we get it right before we do that. We've started that on January 30th, which with 50 persons in the severe category, 1,234 in the minor category who were also vulnerable, meaning you're minor damage, but you are a senior citizen or you're a person with disabilities. So therefore, the impact of the damage is still amplified. And then
Minister,
in addition,
one of our viewers asked you digital payment modality through them. Digital payment modality. But never
I
mind,
mean,
Minister.
what that means is that, for instance, instead of us having to print a check and then find you and deliver the check, and you having to go and carry the check, we just simply send you a QR code to your phone, and you can go to the business, which is going to be connected to the company that is handling it. They have select merchants, and you can just show your QR code, bam, and you get your goods. It's
All
simple.
technology. Minister Desmond wants to ask you a question he's been wanting for a while. Go ahead, Desmond.
Minister, what I want to find out from you as a government representative is what is being done to address the issue of landlessness, where many of the victims were living on lands that were not theirs. How is that being addressed?
Well, that's two different issues, Desmond. The issue of landlessness is a completely complicated issue on its own. But in terms of informal settlers who might have lost their shelter, one of the interventions, one of the 6 interventions under the Shelter Recovery Program is called relocation slash regularization. And why we call it that is because we do understand that you have many persons, many households that were built on land that is not titled or not owned by the occupants. But we do have to treat with them. We do have to give them the support. We do have to help them, but we're going to help them back into a better space. So we want to make sure that for those persons that we carry them through a process where it is possible of regularization, meaning if you built on land and it is not your land, and what you had built made you so susceptible that it was dangerous, you would never want this one for your government to help that person to build back on that land in a way that would make them still susceptible to the danger. That would not make sense. So for those persons, we're going to have to work together, and we're going to have to make sure that we find somewhere for them to be in a more resilient space. For the persons who had built on land, it's not their own, and it is safe, we may very well enter into some discussion with them about regularizing them so that they can have tenure, security of tenure. But these are situations that have to occur case by case. The different situations are unique. But the government has made it clear that we want to make sure that we put people, our people, in a better position. Because for many, many, many persons who we have found in the severe category, especially, it's not the severity of the wind that caused them to have so much damage. It is the susceptibility of the construction of their shelter. Meaning, take for instance, go back to Beryl. In Beryl, there are 2 places in the country that really got hit hard. Southeast Clarendon, which is my constituency, and Southwest St. Elizabeth, which is from Mr. Green. Minister Green's constituency got more intense wind, higher wind than us. But in my seat, 2 communities, Portland Cottage and Rocky Point, had the most totally destroyed homes. Why was that? It wasn't because of the intensity of the wind. It was because the construction of the homes and the type of home was one that was not as resilient, and so therefore any wind that blew on it caused disaster.
Minister,
So no,
we understand that as well. There's so much. This man, you have to follow up because there's so much we want to get from the minister. It's such a big
sure.
field. But Desmond, go ahead if you wanted a quick follow up.
So what I am looking at is that are you, the government, considering a serious land reform program?
Yes, we are. I would invite you to welcome Minister Montague on your program. Minister
Okay.
Montague serves in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, and I know that the Prime Minister has been placing a lot of those land issues in his responsibility. But I can
Okay.
tell you, as a former Minister of Housing, that yes, we not just intend, we have started the work to do the surveys and to look on the necessary structure of a policy and program that is needed for us to truly see how we can get our people to be in the safest, most sustainable space in terms of their shelter, and for them to have security of tenant.
Minister, I've been asking you. You spoke about the assessment. You spoke about work that started on January 30. I was asking you, when do we expect that the majority of people who have lost, had severe damage at that category or next to severe, when do we expect that most of those people will be able to get help from the government, help with regard to their building, whatever the format?
So let me make it very clear, and hear me clearly now. We have already started to help those people. We have started putting on roofs from December. The JDF, in addition to or in collaboration with the engineering corps from Ghana, from Rwanda, and from Guyana, have been in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and other spaces in the most susceptible and severely impacted places, putting on roofs from December.
Minister, you don't want to
So,
commit to me that timing. As I
no,
was saying, you said
I'm just
that
trying to,
90%
I'm just
of
trying
people
to,
will get electricity by X time. I'd love for you to be able to say to people who are waiting, well, 50, half of you will get by June or by whenever. In other words, I'm not. I know that the government has been doing work. These people have been doing work and getting some work out there. But when will the majority? When is it likely that we'll be able to go to every other person has got help? That's what I'm trying to get.
okay, so Franklin, I mean this with no disrespect, but the team could never be in a position to speculate. We are dealing with a moving target. When you're on the ground working in this situation, every day something happens. And we take it as it comes and we try our hardest to just make sure that we put on roofs and get the money out. We have been, as I said before, we've been doing that from December. And we're not stopping. We're working even now. Today, look at me, I'm at work every single day, 7 days a week from Melissa Blow. So I can't tell you December 2, 2026. That's not even my focus. My focus is to try to get it out tomorrow. So as I said to you, we are working assiduously right now. We've been putting on roofs in a compound. We're putting on roofs in Black River, putting on roofs in White House, putting on roofs. So we've started the process and we will work to do that as much as we can. We have started to get the cash grants out. As I explained to you, once we finish cleaning the list, and get the things in order in terms of the structure to disseminate it, it probably won't take a week. And we're trying to do that as quickly as possible. I don't want to put a number to it and then all that the focus will be on is on the number or the date. I would not do that to the team because I know what they're going through. I mean, they're confronting things every single day because this is a completely new process. We've never gone through a category 5 situation like this. And a lot of the modalities that we're using are different. So I don't want to put a number and then cause everyone to just focus on that. I mean, I rather to give you the full context that, if we can get it out tomorrow, that's what we're doing. And we're pushing to make sure that we can
What's
get
the
it out
main
as quickly as
benefit, just
possible.
for people to remember? What's the main benefit to people who have lost shelter, lost
So,
full thing or part of it? What are the main? Can you just briefly tell us the main categories of benefits?
okay, so under the Shelter Recovery Program, which is a broad umbrella, there are 6 interventions. The flagship intervention is called ROOFs, Restoration of Owner Occupant Family Shelter. And that is the first program, where we have an initial $10 billion to be allocated to persons under different categories of minor, major, or severe. 75,000, 200,000, and 500,000. In addition to that, which is roofs, which is the cash grant, we have government-led repair, which is the
What's the
second
top one you just
intervention.
mentioned, Minister? And plastic. What's the top one you just mentioned? 200,000? Is that what you said?
500,000.
200,000 and then
500,000.
half a million. Half a
All right,
million.
okay.
So that is number one. The second intervention under the Shelter Recovery Program is a government-led repair, which is the work that we've already started. Meaning we already started to put on roofs, already started to repair roofs. It's a JDF. It is the JDF working with the Ghana team, the Rwanda team, and the Guyana team, and they're continuing to do that. The third intervention is a partner-led program, and that includes Food for the Poor or GEM or those partners that are working with us. They are also putting on roofs, and they've also started to do that. The fourth is the NHT. The NHT has been, since December, providing similar cash grants to persons, contributors who have been impacted by Melissa. In addition to the cash grants, they provide loans and insurances to them. The fifth is the rapidly deployed modular solution, which is the containers. 330 of them should be here very soon, maybe within the next, I think, 2 to 3 weeks, I believe, or even less than that. Coming in to provide full solutions to
None has come
persons.
yet. None has come yet. None of those containers. We heard about them before. None has come yet, Minister.
Well, a number of containers we have containers that were already in Ireland. And a number of those have already been utilized for some persons to get homes. For instance, my custos here, Edith Chin, she brought about 3 of her container solutions into St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. So a number of the persons who have been assessed have already gotten container solutions, but
So you have 5.
you would appreciate, Franklin, that they're coming in from China. It's
No, I'm
taking
just
time.
asking, because we heard that they should have come from December. So I'm just asking whether they have come. Any have come? You said some more are coming in a week or two.
Some that are on island solutions have been deployed. The rest are on their way, but that I can't give you the specific time. The sixth intervention is the relocation and regularization that Desmond was talking about, where we appreciate the situation that many persons are in, and we're going to work assiduously to make sure that we put people back into a strong and resilient position. We don't want persons to be back in danger, and we want Jamaicans to have security of tenure. So the Housing Agency of Jamaica is stepping in there to do some work, and they'll be working with NLA. Additionally, the social housing program under the Prime Minister and under the McKnight is going to be working to deploy the modular solutions, but also to work with the HAJ in terms of any regularization, if it is that any social housing is needed to be built there as well. So 6 different interventions, all of them have different and unique criteria, but they've started. The roofs have started to be distributed. The repair has already started. NHT started from December. And we're just working hard to make sure that we can help as many people as possible.
Minister, when I put out that I was going to be doing the program this live, I got some colleagues from overseas who wanted to find out what has been happening, why some of the things that they have sent down are not, people are not able to clear, and whether even at this stage, what's the best way for people to make a contribution in kind, in particular, in Jamaica? Is it to call up your ministry? What's the best way?
The best way is to contact ADPEM. ADPEM
ADPEM.
is the one that is in charge of the receiving of any of those goods. But I believe the time for the relaxation at customs is already expired.
Yes.
What was happening is that many persons who sought to send goods, they were not sending it in accordance with the rules that were laid out. And so when they arrived in Ireland, the customs didn't treat it as if it was goods for the hurricane. And the reason why we have very clear guidelines on how you can bring things in related to the hurricane is because, as you know, once you put any relaxation on anything of that nature, you may have one or two persons, just a few, who will try to manipulate the situation to their benefit. So if you don't follow the rule, it's going to be very difficult. And so that's what happened to many persons who genuinely want to send
Why
things
does
in.
this happen to us now in Jamaica, where every program, it seems that a great deal of energy has to be spent on getting rid of the scamming? I mean, even in your programs you're talking about there, you have been mentioning people who are deliberately trying to get double on the program, people who are, trying to scam the program, people who are sending things. What is that? What is that about Jamaica?
I don't think, I'm going to put it this way. You can say Jamaica, but I won't join with you on that because I think it's a global phenomenon. When I go to conferences, the same problem that I have in Jamaica is the same problem they have in Africa, the same problem they have in the USA, the same problem they have in England. Once you have systems, you'll have a minority of persons who will try to beat the system. That's human nature. Our responsibility is to make sure that we monitor and that we enforce and that we protect the integrity of the system. So, we try our best to vocalize it and to communicate to the public and let them know what's happening. But it's not a Jamaica phenomenon, really. It's everywhere. I worked in the States.
I am sorry. Can anyone hear
And I
me?
can tell you
That's
that when I worked in
Winnie is with
Washington,
us, but Minister,
When I
one
worked
of
in
our
Washington,
panelists, Winnie is with us, but we're not seeing her.
As long as
I
you
was
hear me,
I was
can you hear me?
finishing my comment.
Can
I
you
was
hear
saying
me?
to you that when I worked in Washington for a few years, one of the companies that I worked for, they actually hired a group just to be able to increase the security systems for their products because they were having similar problems. So, again, we live in Jamaica, and so we focus a lot on our country, rightfully. And we're gonna do everything we can to reduce the scamming and reduce the manipulation, and that's why we vocalize it and let people know.
May
What
I
is it,
love
Winnie
to
is
Minister?
with us. Winnie, we are not seeing you. Winnie is with us. That's one.
Okay.
Winnie, we are not seeing you, but Winnie, we did a report, Minister. We did a report out of talking to people in Hanover, different households in Hanover, but we found 3 people in Hanover who were pretty much in a similar situation. Winnie has a report on one of them. I'm going to ask us, Minister, if you would listen to this and respond to it at the end. Go ahead, Winnie.
No, I didn't want the minister to get away with the bandwagon fallacy. But let me continue. Homeless in Hanover.
Sorry. You didn't want the minister to do what?
The minister, the one of the things is yesterday I was talking about it, the bandwagon fallacy. You make it hard for us to teach logic, because when you say this is what is done elsewhere, so you're not saying it's okay, but when you're using it, sounds like a justification because it is happening elsewhere. That's a bandwagon fallacy. So it's hard to teach argumentation and logic when you do that.
Perhaps you didn't get an opportunity to listen to the full conversation. So let me enlighten you.
I'm sorry. I could hear everything, but you could not see me. But I could hear.
But what you're suggesting, I think perhaps you misinterpreted what I said. I'm not justifying scamming in any way at all.
No.
I was responding to a comment from Franklin, who said, "Why Jamaica? Why is this happening in Jamaica?" And I only said to him that in my experience, Pernell Charles Jr., who has worked overseas, gone to many conferences, I've served in Ministry of National Security. This is a global phenomenon. It's not just Jamaica. That's all I said. So I don't know how the bandwagon comes into this.
All right, Mr. That's fine. Really, we gotta move. We gotta move it. Our time is really running out on us. We have questions. We have been taking them. So go ahead with it.
Homeless in Hanover. Hurricane Melissa flattened the 2-bedroom house that she occupied. Let us call her Novia. It was the second hit in just over a year that Novia was facing. In July 2024, Hurricane Beryl knocked down the 2-bedroom house near Cascade, Eastern Hanover, leaving the 30-odd-year-old mom and her 2 children without a roof over their heads. But it did not knock down her spirit or enterprise and get up and go again. Yes, the hard-working Hanover mother decided that she had to help herself, and so she went about getting loans from Cool Loans. She erected a structure and got things back to livable. Then October 28, 2025, and Melissa knocked her flat again. Her 2-bedroom board house and all the furniture were destroyed. When I came, I only saw the site, believe me, and the holes where the posts were. Fearful, given the state of the house, she had sheltered at a friend's on that Tuesday night. Good thing she and her 2 children, one a teenager, did. People from the Poor Relief Office visited the area, and when she came from work, she was advised to go see them. Novia went. They sent her to Poor Relief Department at the municipal corporation. They visited her, made assessment, and promised to get back in touch with her. That was weeks and weeks ago until last Tuesday. They were back in the area. She was at work and went to their offices Wednesday, February 4. They took her name, TRN, and ID. They will get in touch. All this time, she has been cutting at a house which she once rented before she built her own structure. She says the landlord has made it plain she cannot stay there. She has been without a house to make into her home for more than 2 months now, and the stress is as heavy and as bothersome as just taking a cut, sorry. The big all-inclusive hotel where she works has been laying off staff. Every day she goes in, Novia fears she'll be next on the line. That means financial insecurity. It means keeping her teenage son out of school. He has not gone back since the hurricane, and she fears his dream to become an electrician may become a nightmare. Now she doesn't know where to turn. She has just been waiting on the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and the Poor Relief Department.
All right, Minister. So that's thank you very much, Winnie. Minister, that's what we. Oh, all right, Minister.
No, no, I'm
Okay,
here. I'm here.
okay. Right, Minister. That's a story from interviews with one particular person,
Yes.
because we found a similar. Just one point there, Minister. Just one point I need to make is that when she went out on Wednesday, it was this Ministry of Labour and Social Security, and they took her ID and TRN, etc., and said that they will come back. Go ahead, Minister. I would love you to respond to that scenario.
When you say, I'm trying to understand, what would you want me to respond to in terms of
In
what's
other
happening
words,
to her?
sorry.
In terms of what the team is doing to her?
If you found that credible, if you found that distressing, if you understand how her insecurity, and if you understand that there are some children, because that's one of the things that really struck me. Some children have not gone back to school because of the state of the
Uh,
family situation. As in
You
this
asked,
case.
you asked me a while ago if I found that distressing. Is that what you just
Yes.
asked me?
Yes, Minister, yes.
Franklin, if I get an opportunity to carry you with me to the places that I have been in this country to see the level of impact of this hurricane, then you would not ask me that question.
Okay.
Let me just say that this young lady represents many persons who are genuinely in need of help and who we as a ministry and as a country um, are trying to assist. The reality is that the Category 5 hurricane has displaced hundreds of thousands. And it's going to take months, a long time for us to get back to normalcy. But we have to be focused. We have to remain optimistic. We have to try and pull as much support in as possible, all hands on deck, so that we can help as many Novias every single day, every single week, every single month until we've done every single one. That's just
Minister,
what
is
we
the
have to
system
do.
overwhelmed at all? I was just wondering when you were talking about your staff earlier and so on. Is the system overwhelmed? Do we have enough people, social workers, etc., working the system? That's what I want to know.
Well, we have brought in a number of field officers from other agencies and departments and ministries. We've brought in persons to come and work with us. We had 700 persons doing assessments, and to reach the 90,000 was a tall order based on what we inherently have or what we traditionally have in terms of staff. So it has been a very difficult time because remember, the same staff members who did burial are the same staff members who are now impacted by Melissa. And it's the same staff members who are expected to still now go out and do the assessments. So it's been a challenge, but I tell you this, I'm very proud of them. Uh, much more, much more, in terms of the people who have come from overseas, for instance, Jamaicans who have just jumped in from everywhere, locally and internationally, and just come in and help. We've had many Jamaicans who have just come, assisted with the assessments, provided water, provided food. And that's why we are where we are now in terms of surpassing the numbers. But it doesn't mean that we have done, all that we are to do. It means that we're taking it step by step by step.
Minister,
That
we don't have
Minister,
process,
a,
that
No,
process can be
before
very
the
frustrating
minister,
for some.
before the minister
Minister,
goes, Franklin, I would not want Minister Purnell's Charles Jr. to go thinking that I could ever think that he would endorse scamming because he cannot see my picture. He doesn't know that is someone who has a lot of respect for him. The last time he saw me was when I was giving a speech. So Minister, I want you to be clear. That could never be it. I would never accuse you of anything like that. You could not say that. So I want that
Minister,
to be clear.
Minister, what is being done to assist businesses, especially those small businesses? As you know, the hurricane has left hundreds, probably thousands, without their means of livelihood. What is being done to assist those persons?
If you Google it, you'll see Minister Albin Hill is out across the country. So the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce has been tasked to go out and to help to restart and resuscitate those businesses. So even in some areas, particularly the most severely impacted, that ministry has been putting in place generators, helping with business grants, and other things to help to resuscitate the economic activity and to get those small businesses up and running. My ministry as well has assisted with some rehabilitation grants, but we are focused more on the residential, and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce is focused more on the business.
Minister, just got a WhatsApp message asking me, where can people get tents if they're in need? Tents and tarpaulin. Where can people get tents and tarpaulin if they're in need?
So we gave out a lot of tents and tarpaulin through the JDF. We have purchased a lot that and received a lot, and those were given out. We have not received any requests for tents or tarpaulin recently. So I would say to you that if there is somebody who still needs tent or tarpaulin relating to Hurricane Melissa, then they should see their parish office. Go to your parish, your Ministry of Labor parish office, and speak to the manager there or somebody and let them know the situation you are in, and somebody should respond to you there.
Minister, can I just give you 1 minute just before we close the show, just to speak to people who are in need, who have not had any assistance yet, and who are out there? What should they be doing? How should they be feeling about where you're going? Just have a minute for that, Minister. Thank you.
So anyone who is not yet assessed, you should get to or get support to go onto our website, www.mlss.gov.jm, and do the self-reporting. If you're unable to do that or unable to access the online, then call our parish office and give them your information and let them come and arrange an assessment. If you're unable to do that, then just get yourself to the parish office physically and let them know what the situation is with you. Now, many persons will not watch this. Some of them may not even be able to watch this. But a family member who knows their situation might be watching or listening. And I would ask you, the family member, to just make sure that you contact your family. Tell them, don't sit down and say to Desmond, I don't get assessment. Get to the parish office and arrange an assessment, because we have been through the nook and cranny and the hill and the valley. But that doesn't mean we're going to meet everybody. There are some persons who will be missed for one reason or the other. And we've put in place these mechanisms to make sure that if you were missed and you genuinely have a situation, we have this different arrangement to make sure that no one is left behind.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much, Minister. Quickly, Desmond, quickly.
Frankly, hold on. Minister, before you go, I want to talk to you about some constituency issues. So I am going to alert you about that, and then we'll talk.
Where you come from?
That's another thing that
I am from
he's talking about his Rebel Radio show, Minister. That's our show for today. Thanks very much to Minister of Labour and Social Security, Colonel Charles Jr. We lost some time at the start of the program because of technical issues, about which we are very sorry, about which we really are sorry. Viewers and listeners, we want to say thanks again to Desmond Richards and Winnie Anderson Brown, our regular contributors to the show. Thanks also to Joshua Black of Joshua Black Media Services. He's our producer and graphic artist. We would love for you to subscribe if you have not yet done so. Thank you for joining us yet again. We are sorry we could not take the comments this week. We just could not take them based upon some technicalities that we have. We are thankful to you, our viewers, and we ask you to share. On behalf of all of us, I'm Franklin McKnight. Until then.